What do they say? They say Spring Street.
Yeah, Prospect, High Street.
Alden Avenue, Harvard.
Yep.
That's what they say. That's
Yep.
what they think of Thompsonville as.
Yeah.
I agree with you. We all grew up down there. We know what Thompsonville entails.
Yeah.
But that's not what Thompsonville people think of now.
No.
Well, that's what we want to find out, what they think of now. And I think that tenants, non-owners are just as valuable as the owners because they are part of the life of Thompsonville and we want their comments. And I do hope that they come out.
Well, nothing. What does it tell me? It doesn't tell me it's empty.
One other comment. I don't know who that was commenting, but one other comment I'd like to make is we used to have Thompsonville Fire Department meetings down there, and they'd open the bay doors, and it was noisy as heck. It was very annoying with the traffic going by and whatever. But it's going to be,
Oh,
You cut out,
You're
Karen.
muted, Karen. You're muted.
Sorry, I must have hit the button.
Okay.
It's going to be a hot August night. The sun's going to be setting. It's going to be beaten into that room, and I don't know how many people you're going to get to show up. So, I don't think it's the best venue, and I would be concerned somewhat about liability if
What
I
about
were Pat.
Meeting room at Bigelow.
We put them at the town hall. We
Well,
got two big rooms there.
We're just going to go to the town hall. I'm just going to switch it.
Yep.
It's just,
Okay.
it's not worth the effort to go through all this. So I will do that tomorrow. So Don, you're here.
Finally,
Welcome.
me and Teams don't get along.
So apparently I think we're going to be changing the venue to town hall. There seems to be some desire for a walk in Thompsonville prior to the meeting to let people, get to know the area.
Okay.
That's what we've been
So-
kind of talking about while you were making your computer work.
Right.
Lou brought up a really good point. Lou brought up an excellent point. What are the actual geographic areas that we think of as Thompsonville? Because, Lou brought up an excellent point. If you ask the average Enfield resident, where's Thompsonville? They would not put in Fruit Terrace, and they wouldn't do it. So Lou made an excellent point that, honestly, Lou, I didn't even think of. And I've lived here my whole life, but it's an excellent point so I think the first question is, what do Enfield residents truly believe to be the Thompsonville village? Because when I was growing up, Thompsonville went all the way down to Enfield High.
Yeah.
It went down through Green Valley.
Yep.
Right? Am I right, Lou?
Yep. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
It
Yeah,
went
at least
to Carpet
Apple Street School.
It went to Carpet Street.
Yeah.
It went all the way. So, but it went down onto Elm Street, and it went to O'Hare and all of that. That anything that you could walk to, anything that was a walkable distance for us,
Yep.
was
Highland Park.
considered Thompsonville.
Thompsonville.
So, what do people consider Thompsonville now? I think you'll be surprised to hear that that's not what they consider Thompsonville to be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You're
Well,
probably
maybe
right.
we should. Josh, yes, we have started it officially. Got a question from ETV. So
Yeah.
we have officially started the meeting probably at like 1:12. I'm sorry, not 1. I'm looking at the minutes that have been ticking by. What time? About 6:55. We'll say we started. So
Okay, so
so maybe we have. Go ahead, Don. Let's let you talk.
so we've prepped out an open house style meeting, not a meeting, but an open house where we will have a series of activity stations, 8 of them. And myself and staff from Gilman York will be there to engage people, assist them with the activities, and engage them in conversations about their community. I'll leave the venue to you guys. I'm agnostic as to venue. I like an in the community venue, but either way, I'm fine with that. I'm a little bit taken back by now the discussion of a walking program to start. So, want to bring me up to speed on the idea, the intent, and what it is we're doing?
Well, I had come up with the idea of walking, but now I'm thinking maybe just a map. I think we need to give people a map of the streets that are included in Thompsonville. Because I don't think the average resident in Enfield thinks that O'Hare or Summer Street or Franklin, or when you get farther down to Spear Avenue, I don't think they consider that to be Thompsonville. I honestly don't. Luke,
Probably
tell me
right.
if I'm right or wrong. You grew
Can
up
I
with me.
comment? Yeah, so I picked up on Marie's idea about something, the walk as like something where people are interacting with each other and not just with Go New York, where there's a sense of building community. And, if it just, we've got it planned and that throws a monkey wrench, I will defer, but that was the thought, that it's more empowering for people to be interacting with each other. To the question of defining Thompsonville, yes, if we want to be really precise, but I'm guessing that if you publicized it around what could be Thompsonville and let people self-select, that everybody has a mental map of Thompsonville that includes, the train station, the pond, the sort of central part of it. And that's where the most, I guess, alive conservation and development issues are. So I'm thinking we could not have to overthink where it is if we just say, maybe have a map and say, if you live here, you're welcome kind of thing, or if you're curious about this place.
I mean, not being from Thompsonville and owning property in Thompsonville, every time you hear something about we're going to do something in Thompsonville, it's always the core near the town hall, down near where the train station's going to be, Prospect Street, all those areas. I think of it as west of Enfield Street and north of 190, period. So, I mean, that's what I think of Thompsonville is. And once you get further down Enfield Street, it becomes similar to the fire districts, North Thompsonville. So I don't know if really, what about the mall area? That's not Thompsonville. I don't know. Maybe we need to, I had said something in my comments about the TIF area. Maybe we need to stop sectioning off Thompsonville and make it part of a greater area of redevelopment, so to speak.
Would you
Well,
do
it's
that
not-
with Hazardville?
What was that?
Would you do that with Hazardville?
With Hazardville, it's the village area is small as far as I'm concerned. I mean, a lot of people say they're from Hazardville. I mean, we didn't really have an area. We were on North Maple Street. We're not from Shaker Pines. We're not from Hazardville. We're, we were just kind of outcasts in the town. Some people said we were from Jawbuck, and it's like nobody even knew what that was. So, I think we have to take these stereotypes away of where we're from.
I mean, I think the point is that Thompsonville has been considered a village. And to me, at this point, at least geographically, the village is where all of the Thompsonville village zoning is.
Right.
Well,
That may not be what
Leave the map
is
done.
in people's minds, but that's how it's defined currently.
Right, but the village used to be, I believe, right down the main drag there, up Pearl Street and North
Right, well-
Main area, that area. It didn't include the outskirts all the way to Frew and so forth. So I don't know. When
Well, this map-
people
this
say
map is pretty
Thompsonville,
precise.
we need to figure out what, if you're talking about Thompsonville and that's what this meeting is about, then we got to figure out what that area is we're talking about. That's all.
So,
That's
so
what I'm
let
saying.
me jump in here. I don't think it matters how it's defined. And I think people will come up with their own definitions. But this is what we have done for maps to help orientate people, and that we will be utilizing in some of the activities, and will be there to assist with identification on the map. While this map is orientated landscape, it will be in portrait, as you can see there above. And this is the U.S. Census boundary designation for what is Thompsonville.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
the starting point. And to then provide with greater detail, we have split Thompsonville on this page into a north and a south, using that kind of approximate 190 as the dividing line. And then anticipating things that were already going to be said, I believe Melissa made clear. Here we have the zoom in on the small geographic area that may also be interpreted as kind of the core or center of Thompsonville. So all in all, I think we have it covered. And to be honest with you, it'll be really interesting to see if, based on our activities, we ask a bunch of questions about, what people think of and how they feel about Thompsonville, if everyone answers about the north side or the south side, or if their answers kind of compare and contrast the north, or if they only focus in on what is the core area. So I think the user, the interactive resident, is going to help to inform us, regardless of what the Thompsonville boundary is.
I concur with Don. I think that was perfect. That was a census tract map that we used for the redistricting plan, Marie. We use more than that because, as you know, the political line for Thompsonville is bigger than this, but
Yes.
I think Don's 3 maps are perfect. I think that pretty much spelled it right out in detail what pretty much we've been discussing the last half an hour.
No,
And I wasn't even privy to your discussion. So
No, you weren't, Don.
Brilliant.
So what if we broke it up into smaller areas like this and said to people, I mean, I'm sure you already have your questions already figured out, but maybe we break it down into smaller venues and say, what would you like to see more of in this area versus this area or something? Is that where we're going to go with this, or tell me what the plan is?
I think that's too in the weeds, to be honest with you. And I don't think the average person will be able to do that. So
Are we going to ask questions like, what do you think Enfield's missing? Those type of things, or are we just going somewhere else with this stuff?
So let me stop sharing and let me start sharing in a moment. Once I find my document, sorry. Start sharing. So we've basically sketched out a program of activities, stations. And the first station is called Prouds and Sorries, and it will utilize the maps that I just showed you.
Excuse
Most
me, Don.
likely.
Can you enlarge that a little bit?
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We always do this. So the Prouds and Sorries will utilize the maps that I just showed you. Most likely the north and south split map that's in a bit closer and in better detail, but the full size, all 3 maps will be available at the station for use. My guess is the split map is probably going to be the primary one. But we're going to ask people to identify 5 things that they're proud of and 5 things that they're sorry about within the neighborhood. They're going to be given blue dots for the prouds, red dots for the sorries, and they're going to be given essentially a note card that allows them to place, so they're going to place their dots on the map of those things that they're proud of, those things that they're sorry of, and then they're going to be given a notepad card where they can write down what those 5 items are. So we actually know what the prouds were, what the sorries were, and we'll have the map geographical reference to where those things are. The second activity asks them to identify, this will be a new fresh set of maps, same maps, but fresh set, ask them to identify 3 assets in the community, and they'll be given instructions as to what is an asset and so forth. And that will be done once again on the maps. Those are the 2 primary mapping exercises, even though the maps will be available for view and discussion throughout. Similar program that I did with you guys back early on in this, at one of our first ones, is about the continuums of place. And they'll be asked to essentially, you know, the dual question of what's important to you, housing quality versus, say, housing affordability. What's important to you, housing, you know, redevelopment or commercial redevelopment. They're going to be asked to identify on those continuums where they fall in relation to 9 specific questions for the continuums. We then have a ranking exercise, which actually, I believe there's 9 items here. I think I ended up with 12. I think their names are slightly different as I modified them, but we're giving them, I believe it's 12, it may be 14, I can't remember now. We're giving them a series of kind of issues or topics and asking them to rank in order from the most important to them to the least important to them. And we will ultimately be able to tabulate this across the whole population. We're then going to ask them, this will be similar to an exercise I did with you guys earlier, but it's about investing in Thompsonville. They are going to have a series 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe they're going to have 8 items of things that they can choose to invest in, but they're going to be given a mix of money that only, it's play money, that totals $100, but it only totals 6 bills. So they get 150, 120, 2 10s, and 2 5s. So you have to make hard choices as to where and what you're investing in. And you're confined by the fact that you're going to have to put a $50 bill down on one of the items versus, you know, other items. We don't allow you to exchange money with your friends. And based on counting the numbers of bundles of money that we put out, we know how many 50s, 20s, 10s, and 5s. So when we start looking at the individual categories of what people want to invest in, we actually can know how many people actually voted or invested in a certain category based on the breakup of the money that's out there in the universe. So it actually gives us a very good way of kind of tracking where sentiment is. What we've found in other times when we've done this, you know, hot topic issue, something that the community really values and everyone throws their 50 at it. Some people throw all 100 at it. And then some people are more cautious and spread their money across different items. But we typically come out with a pretty good feeling of what people, you know, are willing to spend money on, which I'll be honest with you, often conflicts with what they say is most important in their issues. That we start finding when it comes to a money question, they may vote a little differently. After that, we have a question specific to Thompsonville train station and possible amenities at the train station. And that's in board format. And then we have what we call Wordle boards. People are given So it's existing conditions. You're given 3 Post-it notes, basically. The way this one works out, you're given 3 Post-it notes, and you have to write 3 words describing Thompsonville today, and you place them on that board. And then you're given 3 more Post-it notes, and you're asked to write 3 words describing Thompsonville in the future if it has improved. And you post those 3 Post-it notes. We'll collect all those words together and ultimately computer generate Wordles that kind of describe. If you've probably all seen Wordles before. I think I've used them in some of my presentations, but ultimately they show you, based on the size of the word and the placement of the word within the arrangement, the intensity of the usage of the word and the activities. So if you have, say 100 people participating and 70 people say affordable housing, let's say, then affordable housing will end up the biggest word, most central in the final arrangements of the word. And so through these 8 exercises, and then also our interactions and discussions with the participants, we feel we will get a good read on A, what it is the community wants, and then B, that will inform us as to what Enfield can think of doing to better the community of Thompsonville. Questions, comments?
Comment.
Yep.
Lori, how are we getting the word out to the residents of the Thompsonville area? How will they be invited to this? Will they get a flyer mailed to them? Will there be?
Well, I was going to, obviously I'm gonna have to redo the flyers with the new venue, but I was literally gonna go to all of the stores in Thompsonville. I was gonna try to contact some key people, like Steve Cogtella, invite him because I think he will spread the word himself. We've already posted on Enfield Facebook, the websites, all of the Land Use Commission websites. You should have received invites through town council. So far, that's it.
Yeah, it would be to make a list of like the top 15 or so businesses in Thompsonville and see if they have social media platforms.
Well, I think there's only about 15 businesses. Right. So, I mean, yeah, but I mean, we could do that too, yeah.
Social media within Thompsonville.
Yep.
I'm thinking I have time. Maybe I can get it. Well, now it's St. Jean's are gone, but maybe I can get it into the bulletin, the church bulletin, because you have a lot of Thompsonville people that go to St. Patrick's, as well as people across the town. So I can maybe put that in there because we have enough of time.
Lori,
Are you going to hit all the businesses along Enfield Street? People go to Enfield Pizza Palace and.
I mean, up and down close to within Thompsonville, yeah, but I can't go 6 miles up and down Enfield Street.
I can help.
Handing out flyers.
I mean, I would be willing to do some of that. What about the community police giving it to the boys and girls that are playing basketball? And the kids that are on the playscape?
Yeah, I thought I'd post some out there maybe with plastic on it.
August 2nd, they're also having the night downtown Enfield at the Green. It might be maybe worth our while I know I'm doing a booth down there that night. Anybody wants a temporary tattoo, I'll be temporary tattooing that night. So, but that might be a good venue because, I mean, according to the officers downtown, I mean, they're expecting last year they had like 300 families. So that might be and you're going to get everybody from Thompsonville as well as the rest of the town. it might be a good time to spread the word that we're doing this.
Yeah, usually, anytime there's an event like that, they ask, everybody in the town hall if there's anything they want to post or, hand out flyers or, at a table. So I'll
Yeah,
talk to
put some-
Cheryl about that.
Yeah, I can put some at my table. Like I said, I'm going to be putting a table out. So I don't have a problem having them at my table. And I'm sure other people that are going to be doing, they have face painting, they have all this stuff going on.
Yeah,
I just
awesome.
would like to see as many people as possible come to this. So that
Me
we
too.
get, yeah, I mean, so that we get, but I just think people are going to be hesitant. And I don't know why, but I think people are going to be hesitant.
Lori, I'll take some.
Well-
Lori, I'll take some and put them up at the polling places for election day.
Okay. I mean, you saw what happened in our other community event. Hardly anybody came after everybody complained that we weren't having them and that, we need this. So
let's really work it. And I don't mind taking, I mean, I live on the upper end of Route 5, so I'll come and grab some flyers. I'll go. I mean, Rinaldi's Pizza just opened. I mean, I will go up and down Route 5 and put out some flyers for you if you want.
yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we'll take any help that we can.
Yeah,
So.
I know where I am, we have a lot of Long Meadow coming through, but I'm sure you're going to still get some. So I don't have a problem taking some and just, I can walk down and give out some flyers. I don't have a problem with that for you.
Okay, thanks.
I would really like to see the people talk about what we think of the Thompsonville Village and hopefully get some really good ideas.
That certainly is the focus. So.
So,
Don, do we have other stuff to cover tonight besides just this one issue?
Not really. I am working on updates, or A, reformatting the plan, B, rewriting the plan, or at least the revisions to the plan. I'm about halfway through the revisions that I've received so far. My main thing was going to encourage any of you who haven't submitted comments yet to please do. I'm also going to stress once again, please do not provide edits or waste your time on edits. I'm looking for, feedback on policies, strategies, things you want to see or don't want to see. We will work through all the minutia and the in the weeds stuff as we go through the document, but I really need more input and as quickly as possible on that.
Just out of curiosity, Don, is it worth mentioning somewhere in there? I'm not sure we should. That's why I'm just asking why everyone is here, especially Lori too. I know Karan's here too. I see him over here. Is there somewhere to mention that some of these things that are in the POCD that have already been discussed at various land use boards and at least in our case, we are going to be revisiting our regulations around the holidays for updates and changes? Is that something that cannot already be pre-mentioned in the POCD, or should we just stay away from that?
I think at the end of the day, there's specific recommendations to do things like update the zoning regs, and I just feel like you stay in the present voice. The plan is making that recommendation, and the way this is going to play out is basically, as soon as you send this thing into the process for approval, I'm going to jump back into your zoning regulations, and hopefully you'll be approving zoning right after you're approving, not the same night, but shortly thereafter you're approving the plan. So,
and I think that is the plan, to be honest with you. Okay, all right, that's how we're going to handle it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I like that too. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, you like that too, Karan?
And it gives you some quick wins. You instantly implement recommendations from the plan. So,
yeah. And all Lori's notes.
So,
You're muted,
there's
Lori. You're
probably
muted.
about,
We all have the notes.
Yeah.
there's probably about 5 or 10 large property owners in Thompsonville. I think it would be good to send a flyer to those landlords, and at least make them aware that this is happening and see what their input might be. Why haven't they upgraded their facilities, or why have they upgraded their facilities? You know, I mean, there's a few that own quite a few, and then there's some that own some. So I would say whatever we can do to get some of those larger apartment or building owners there to see what their opinions are would be good.
Yes. Good idea.
Do, do we need different kind of opinion from, let's say, residents of Bigelow Commons? They,
I was gonna put flyers up there too and give it to the directors.
okay, so there'll be some circulation of flyers in that community also, because it seems
Usually
like
what they do is email it to all the residents.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
they've done in the past.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it'd be of interest to them because the railroad station, etc., will be a major component of this neighborhood. So they may be interested. Okay.
Just so you guys know, we will do a sign-in sheet with an address ask on it. Can't guarantee everyone will provide it, but we'll ask for it just so we know where the audience is coming from.
Maybe if you had just a map of what we're considering Thompsonville and just have everybody like put a dot where they live.
Actually, that's a great idea. We've done that previously. So yeah, we will do that. Dot.
This is your sign in. Where do you live?
Yeah. Yeah, dot
Sorry.
your house.
A lot of the kids go over to the social services, go to the new like rec center over at Alcorn.
Yep.
Maybe Cindy Guerreri could pass some out there too, and
Yeah. I was
almost
gonna
kind
do
of
that
like
as well.
yeah, you know, and even the parks, even the kids that are going to the EFRC summer camp, almost kind of like hand them out like you would put in a backpack. You know,
Yeah.
put the flyer in the backpack.
Okay.
You know, I'm just trying to think of a way to spread the word as vastly as we can.
No, that's lovely. That's great.
So
The
that's just one of the things
the
I'm
two
thinking.
libraries.
Libraries,
Yep.
absolutely, especially
That's-
Pearl Street.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
Pearl Street. But you know, I'm thinking we have, you know, a lot of kids that go to the EFRC camp. We have a lot of kids that are going over to the Alcorn. And Cindy Guerreri could help us with that.
yep.
You know, just another idea.
What is the date of the conversation?
10th.
Excuse me?
Okay, so it's the 10th. Oh, so to Marie's point, the backpack drive through ERFC is August 13th. So that would have been a great place to distribute, but it's 3 days too late.
You know, actually thinking of a venue, Lori, instead of the town hall, what if we did do it over at social services? Because
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
what.
people, could we do it in one of their rooms over there? A lot of people in Enfield do not know how beautiful they've renovated Alcorn for the kids.
I
And
don't.
again,
I
I'm
don't
just
know
throwing
what
it
venue
out
they've
there.
got there at all. I have not been there since they've renovated. So
I go over there for the Commission on Aging meetings, and I've also met Cindy over there a couple of times. And I have to say, they have done a phenomenal job over there.
So what
lot of people in
large rooms do they
Enfield
have though?
Don't even realize what we're offering our kids now over
Hey,
there.
Marie, what rooms, is there a large room that would be
Yeah,
appropriate? Yeah, okay.
yeah, it's where we meet for the Commission on Aging. It's a very good sized room, but they also have this big gymnasium. You know, I mean, I would maybe talk to Cindy and see, and there's
Well, we're
good
running out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no,
Why don't we,
again,
like,
I'm sorry
give,
I'm late to the party, but
yeah, I'm
I'm just-
shifting into thinking it's time now to trust Lori and Don to take our input and do their darndest with it. And not micromanage every single darn thing.
No, I know, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm just looking at a venue where I feel a lot of people will come to. That's all.
Okay.
I
Hey,
could call
another
Cindy in the morning. I
question.
just, I don't know what the status of the gym is. It might be booked or not. And I don't know how big that room is you're talking about. We could have 50 people there. I don't know. So,
Okay.
Gosh darn it, I want you to do town hall, because then I'll be able to go, because I'll just be right downstairs here, still working on the election.
Okay, Lou, we'll just do town hall then. You're right. No, that's good.
That's all right, no.
I mean,
Work in charge.
I'm all for doing new
I mean, I like
venues
Alcorn, that was a
because
good
the
idea.
town hall
Alcorn
is
is a good
boring.
idea. We just might not be able to get it in on time for here, but I think it's worth exploring, especially thinking about things going down the line in the future too. I think it's a really good idea, especially to get Tonsil people over into that new facility. I think that is, yeah.
Hey, I have a separate question about this event, which is, are there things that we could do at the event, whether it's signing people in or, being at stations or anything that's useful?
Yeah, I think one, being at stations and helping people through the exercise, and if you wanted to pick a station for yourself to be at, I can train you on what to do with the stations. All of it's very simple.
Yeah.
Number two is, though, what I like to do is engage people in conversations. So if I happen to be at the Prouds and Sorries table, station while they're doing that activity, and I notice that their number one sorry is X, I may then ask them about it.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Because then I get the backstory to the dot. That doesn't mean I come out of there at the end of the night knowing the backstory to every dot and every sorry, but it means I've, had conversations with a dozen or more people that have given me additional insights that I wouldn't previously have had. So just, engaging people in conversations about their community. Even just basic questions like, how long have you lived here? Just to get a conversation going with them starts to become informative, because they may say they've lived here for 35 years in the same rental unit. I just did an event, I think it was down in Stonington, Connecticut. And I was just oh no, it was in Avon a few years ago. It was a development application. And everyone thinks renters are transient. And we had this like 160 unit apartment building that they were adding like another 180 units to. And about 60 of the residents from that apartment building turned out at this hearing. And when they all got up and gave their name and address, they also stated how long they lived there. And this insight into the fact that we had an average time of like 12 years for the resident that was getting up and speaking. So just basic questions like that can go a long way to help to inform things and help to dispel myths about the transient nature of renters and so forth. So
if as many of us as possible could be there for maybe 2 hours at a pop or whatever we can, and coordinate with you and just be flexible to help however it's needed.
Yeah, and the reason why I picked 4 to 8 is 4 is early. There may be some people, if they work, in the evenings or second shift, can get in there on the earlier side. The 6 to 8 period for people who have to work during the day and so forth, they can come out. In the open house format, and just that you don't have to come and sit through a 2-hour meeting. You can come in, do the exercises, chit chat, have a refreshment and a cookie or something, and be on your way. And I would say it's the same for you guys. You don't have to be there the whole 4 hours, but if you want to come in and spend an hour and interact with people and assist us, that's great. So
okay, great. Well, I'll definitely do that. I'm going to bolt now, but the sections I haven't given you comments on, I will. And I'm sorry it's been last minute and piecemeal.
Well, with the reorganization, as you know, kind of the sustainability and resilience, at least that stuff that you sent me, has been pushed to later in the document. So that's why I said to you today, when I get to it, it's just I'm working myself cover to cover, and I just haven't gotten there yet. So
all good.
Hey Lou, you mentioned that you'll be working on the election.
Yeah.
Is the town hall going to be, are you using the Enfield room for that? Or because a lot of times we can't have a meeting after an election in the Enfield room because you're counting ballots or whatever you're doing,
Yeah, we might.
validating.
Yeah. I think our plan right now, based on the absentee ballot totals we're seeing so far, we should be out of the Enfield room that Wednesday, the 10th, by around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, 'cause
Definitely,
that's
we're not
something
using the
Lori
council
should
chambers.
need,
Yeah,
Lori may need to know that if we're
Yeah.
gonna move it to the town hall, that's all.
yeah, yeah.
Is
Well, I
that
think we-
other room available? The new
We-
room?
I'm
Or
not
the
sure about,
assessment?
I'm not sure about that, but I figured we would just go into the council chambers.
Yeah, I would recommend that, Lori.
All right.
I will make a good effort to, because we don't have a lot of absentee ballots for this coming primary, I hope to be out of the Enfield room, like I say, around 2 in the afternoon as a spillover. If you think you need it, we'll set that as a goal. Yes, good point, Karen. Thank you.
Lori, council chambers is where PZC meets.
Yes,
Okay, I'm just trying to visualize the room, and actually, I think
Yeah.
that room would work well for this. So
yeah. We could
And
even
you have-
set some
you
boards
have
up by the
existing
dais.
furniture. You have existing furniture in there that we can kind of move around and utilize. So
Yeah, those chairs could be moved, and we could
Yeah.
put some poster boards up by the dais and
yeah,
on the edges of the room.
And there's tables here at Town Hall we can put in there so need be.
Yeah.
okay, good to know.
Well, and the one thing is, it will be air conditioned.
That's always nice.
So
At least-
as opposed to Talarita's firehouse, should have been open air. So Don and I will have to work on getting the flyers changed like tomorrow.
Yeah, Lori, basically, the sooner you can get me the new location, I will instantly have Alyssa make the changes and get those documents back to you.
Right. So I will check for Enfield room tomorrow morning, first thing.
Yep. And I will first
Council
thing.
chambers. Council chambers, Lori.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Council chambers,
welcome.
yes. We're just talking
And-
Enfield room,
And
yeah.
I'll make my staff aware first thing in the morning to be ready to make quick changes. So,
Yeah, because we're gonna need to get these out starting tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, and
I
when
want
you
it, I
should
want it,
flyers, let me know. I'll pick some up and I'll start delivering from on Route 5 for you. I don't have a problem with that.
thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'll go knock on doors. I don't care.
Maybe the food shelf, the Subway next to the town hall.
Yep.
Those would be important places,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure they have flyers on the counter or whatever.
Right, we're gonna try to hit all of the businesses in the area as much as we can, while still trying to do our other work.
Lori, I will do whatever businesses you'd like me to do.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, we've got staff here. I just, the lucky thing is that, we're not gonna have any more night meetings, so that's going to free up a lot of our time, not doing packets and memos and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just really important to, like I said, tap into the EFRC camps, tap into social services, any place where kids are congregating this summer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's going to be home to parents, and hopefully parents are going to read it.
It'll be interesting I'm gonna count how many we pass out. It'll be interesting to see how many people come.
Well, try to flood it. I mean, and I'll take one and send it over. Again, it's a whole new church thing for me because St. Pat's is still open, but that
Okay.
whole office is closed now, so I have to go through a different church, and I don't know that secretary, but it'll give me a great opportunity to go introduce myself and ask her if I can get it into the bulletin. So,
Oh, that rectory's closed now, Marie?
pardon?
The old rectory's closed?
Well, the only person that's there now, Lou, is
Yeah.
Nancy for the
Nancy.
cemetery, and she's
Yeah,
there
yeah.
part-time. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
part-time.
Yeah.
So Betty retired.
Oh, okay.
So it's all new.
Yeah. I get it.
We're
Well, thank you.
figuring it out. We're
Yep.
figuring it out.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments, suggestions? And nobody ever has a joke.
Knock, knock, no, I'm only kidding.
My apologies for my IT issues.
No problem, Don. All right, I'm heading off. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
All
Good
right,
night, everybody.
we'll see you guys on the
Thank you very
10th.
much.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
I'll be in touch. I'll give you a shout.
I-